The debate on golden rice. Should you think twice? Golden rice is a genetically modified variety of rice containing large amounts of orange or red pigment known as beta-carotene, which is very important in the human diet because it's a precursor for vitamin A. Vitamin A deficiency is widely acknowledged as a leading cause of blindness, but more importantly, it's known for weakening one's immune system so that they are more vulnerable to infections, including HIV, AIDS, measles, and other childhood diseases. Because of this, mortality rates among children that have vitamin A deficiency have spiked. UNICEF has estimated that 124 million children in the world are chronically deficient in vitamin A. The inventors of golden rice were Ingo Patrikus and Peter Bayer. The search for golden rice started off as a Rockefeller Foundation initiative in 1982. After years of research by various research groups, a meeting of experts was convened in New York City in 1992. There, the professors met for the first time and subsequently decided to embark on the project that would lead to the development of golden rice in 1999. There are 4 easy steps when it comes to making golden rice. First, the genes that give the golden rice its ability to make beta-carotene in its endosperm are taken from daffodils and a bacterium known as Erwinia iridova. These genes, along with the promoters, are segments of DNA that will activate these genes are inserted into plasmids, small loops of DNA that occur in a species known of bacterium known as Agrobacterium tumefaciens. Next, these agrobacterium are then added to a petri dish containing rice embryos. As they infect the embryos, they also transfer their genes that encode the instructions for making beta-carotene. And lastly, the transgenic rice plants must be crossed with strains of rice that are locally grown and are suited for particular regions' climate and growing conditions. Since the beginning of its existence, there has been much debate on golden rice, and many people have different opinions on it. The supporters of golden rice argue that the crop offers enormous potential for eliminating as many as 2 million deaths each year due to vitamin A deficiency, which mainly impacts young children and pregnant women. According to Slate.com, 2 recent studies in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition show that just 50 grams, or about 2 ounces of golden rice can provide up to 60% of the recommended daily intake of vitamin A. They show that golden rice is even better than spinach in providing vitamin A to children. Some other pros of golden rice include the potential of being developed further to offer such minerals as zinc, iron, and vitamin C, but also act as a good quality of protein, being a very positive bearing on the economy of any country that spends a considerable part of its annual budget on healthcare. And lastly, golden rice reduces the use of pesticides, but also crop yields are higher. Both are generic advantages for most of the genetically modified foods. But critics, including the Greenpeace Environmental Group, have long opposed the crop because of the genetic engineering involved in its creation. Patrick Moore, a Canadian ecologist, was a member of Greenpeace in the 1970s and early 80s, but has since become a critic of the group's stance on a range of issues, including golden rice. In response to Moore's criticism, Greenpeace issued an email statement stating, "Genetically engineered crops consist mostly entirely of herbicidal-tolerant and insect-resistant crops marketed to developing countries." The statement also said the group finds this model detrimental to people's health, farmers' livelihoodness, and the environment. Some of the other cons about golden rice include allergies, which is a common issue for many genetically modified foods because different kinds of plants or animals that people can be allergic to are used as a source of protein in these foods. Interfering with medications, as well as the effectiveness of antibiotics. This is because the genetically modified foods feature antibiotics and insect-resistant genes in order to combat viruses and other germs, which can interfere with the human body's natural response. And lastly, the risk of the genes of golden rice spreading out and affecting the natural vegetation or the growth of weeds. Golden rice is only one small aspect of a much larger debate over the place of genetic modification in agriculture, but is a prime example of the interests at play. On one side is the optimistic view of feeding the world and improving livelihoodness through bioengineering, and on the other is the number of legitimate and unsettling questions about who in the system is actually benefiting and whether there are undiscovered health risks. One glaring problem is that the developing countries that stand to gain the most from GMOs often lack the resources to really investigate the issues and to cut through all the noise. Currently, the level of investment and the political tone indicate that GMOs will be a part of our global future, at least in some part, even as the 2 opposing fantasies of their elimination and their acceptance duke it out for our attention.
Shutterstock Music.